This is our Against Animal-Centered Entertainment presentation, Section 13, Group 3, with Abril, Galarza, Diaz, and Moria Loyd. Animals in Society 67. We will start by discussing the history and background on animal-centered entertainment. From the very start in ancient Rome, animals have been used for gladiator battles to circuses that traveled in the 19th century. Animal-centered entertainment has been around for many centuries as a way for people to be able and see wild animals as well as exotic animals up close, sometimes even being able to touch them. Some examples of animal entertainment places, which are the most common, are zoos and aquariums. There are actually more animal-centered entertainment places that we maybe don't always think about. For example, circuses. In circuses, you can see live animals perform tricks with people that you would never think possible because it is unnatural to them. While it is less common now, animals are still used in circuses. I did include some photos here of 3 elephants doing tricks in a circus and an aquarium where you can see the stingray just swimming above these people. And lastly, in a zoo, these people are feeding the giraffe. This is some more history on animal-centered entertainment. Now, we did discuss a certain type of animal entertainment, which is zoos and aquariums and circuses, but there's also entertainment for performance animals specifically. So what I mean by performance animals is something like horses or dogs that are just their bodies are made to run or do activities of that sort. Now, the types of performances that we see involving animals can be like dog sled racing, which is common in places like Alaska, Canada, and Norway. And I did include a picture down here of dog sled racing. Not only this, but where we live, it's very common to go to rodeos. And you see horses as well as other livestock used for different activities. So in this picture here, we can see the horse and a calf being used at a rodeo. Another form of entertainment that we maybe don't think about is the movies we see growing up. There are movies that have animals in them, and that's unnatural to them. So yeah, these are some examples of animal-centered entertainment. We will now discuss why using animals for entertainment isn't a good thing. Now, there has been a great debate regarding the use of animals for entertainment purposes. Many believe that using animals for entertainment is an example of behavior coming from the hierarchy that humans created to dominate or be more powerful than animals, because that is what a lot of people want. However, many believe that using animals for entertainment means taking advantage of animals as well as suffering to the point many end up dead, all for human entertainment. Animals in zoos and aquariums do not have a choice but to be put in habitats many times smaller than their original habitats. And we can think about this, for example, a monkey. A monkey is supposed to have tons and tons of land of jungle to be able and live, and when they're taken away from that and put in zoos, they're not going to have that same amount of land or climate or anything in reality. So this can be stressful for animals. Not only this, but circus animals are obligated to perform tricks and many times mistreated when they do not obey. Many animals are pushed past their limits when performing for entertainment. So again, as mentioned, these animals aren't made to perform. They're just made to live their lives, that is, whether hunting, in different parts of the world, not to be confined to a small space where people are going to look at them or where they're going to have to be mistreated because they have to perform tricks that are unnatural to them. We will now discuss the cultural and sociological importance. Animal-centered entertainment places remind us of our childhood, as we may have all gone to a zoo or an aquarium at one point. Now, it is more common for parents to take their children to animal-centered entertainment places compared to going without children. Not only this, but schools take children on field trips to animal-centered entertainment places For example, here in Fresno, we have the Fresno Chaffee Zoo. Now, many children from surrounding areas of Fresno grew up going to this specific zoo. And zoos are a place for children and people to get to see wildlife up close. However, while it may seem not so bad, in reality, we are teaching our children that it is okay to remove animals from their homes and lock them up in enclosures many times smaller than their homes. We're showing children it is okay to abuse animals and make them perform tricks that are unnatural to them. And this can have a bad effect on children because children look at adults and they think what the adults do is okay. So this means that this can even lead children to grow with no respect for animals if they grow up thinking that this is correct. And this is why it is important to stop animal entertainment. These animals are being abused. And here I included some photos of these poor animals that are being confined to small cages with bars. For example, here in this first picture, this animal looks stressed, sad. Like, this just seems like a miserable life for an animal to live. And here these elephants are in this sort of like circus type area, and they're also like confined. And these poor horses are doing tricks that is not natural to them. So this is just very heartbreaking to see. Now we will discuss why we should be against animal-centered entertainment. So we can only think about how in order for animals to perform tricks, they have to be trained. And it is common sense that it is easier to train a young animal, in other words, a baby. So therefore, babies are removed from their mothers as soon as they are born. And motherly instinct can be, dangerous to humans. Therefore, it is easier for mothers to just end up being killed or abused or beaten in order to remove the baby from them. At some zoos, animals spend all their lives behind tiny versions of their natural habitats. However, most animal-centered entertainment places keep the animals in concrete rooms with steel bars. Animals see hundreds of people a day, which can cause them to become very stressed. And we can only think how scary this is because humans suffer from anxiety. Now imagine how these animals feel. Now, stress in animals can cause them to hurt their trainers as well as the public, and this can be very dangerous. So once an animal hurts someone, it is very likely it will be killed. And it is just an ongoing cycle of abuse towards these animals. And in these photos, we can just see how heartbreaking it really is that these animals have to go through this.
Hi, my name is Moria Loyd, and I did non-ethical aspects of animal-centered entertainment. Many times, when discussing animal-centered entertainment ethics, the main concern that comes to mind is that the animals are being held captive. For example, at SeaWorld, orcas, along with other species, are being held in tanks that are much smaller than they would have if they lived in the ocean. Same goes for the animals that live in zoos. Since the animals are being confined in small areas, there is no room for them to practice any of their natural behaviors such as hunting. Confinement of animals increases their stress levels and boredom. This is why you can oftentimes see tigers pacing the fence line. Sometimes animals escape at zoos, which endangers the animals themselves and humans as well. The top picture is of an orca confined in a very small tank. Throughout the day, these animals just swim in circles and circles. If they lived in the wild, they would have thousands of miles to swim. In the picture, you can see a bear that is confined in a small cage. You can tell from the picture that he wants out of the cage. There is also a picture of an elephant that is trying to escape. By going over the fence, he could injure himself. Non-ethical aspects of animal-centered entertainment continued. People often ignore warning signs of animals and get too close to them. This oftentimes leads to injury to humans as well as the animal. There has been many times where children fall into the animal's cage. In an attempt to keep the child safe, they end up killing the animal. Contained animals are aggressive, and many times people forget that they are still wild animals. Just because they have been raised in confinement their whole life does not mean that they do not have natural instincts anymore. An animal rights organization, also known as PETA, believes that animals have their own rights and does not give humans the right to breed, capture, and confine animals. In the top picture, you can see a young child that has fallen into a Harambe's cage at a zoo. They wanted to make sure that the child was safe and was not hurt by the animal, so they shot the Harambe. The bottom picture shows a young child that was attacked by a lemur. Current event of an animal-centered entertainment. On January 13th, 2024, at Petco Park, located in San Diego, a 6-year-old horse was injured after he threw his rider off and crashed into a fence. Both rider and horse did not suffer life-threatening injuries. However, the incident drew much attention to rodeos. In general, many people believe that they are unnecessary, unsafe, and cruel towards animals. This was the first ever rodeo held at Petco Park after a heated debate among residents of Southern California who question rodeo ethics. So this is a video that was taken at Petco Park the day of the incident.
This video of a horse violently crashing into a fence was taken at a rodeo hosted by the San Diego Padres. The terrified horse is Waco Kid, who was forced to wear blinders and risk his life during the first ever rodeo at Petco Park. This incident was preventable. You can help stop other animals from being tormented in rodeos.
Current events continued. In recent years, there has been a big push to stop animal entertainment, especially circuses. A lot of people have stopped supporting circuses, which has forced them to shut down due to not having enough funds. PETA has been a big contributor to this as they work hard to expose the realities and abuses that animals endure while being forced to perform. In 2017, after 36 years of protesting, PETA finally got Ringley Bros, as well as Barnum and Bailey Circus, to close down after not having any customers. At almost every performance, PETA would be protesting, letting the attendees know the abuse that they were encouraging by supporting these circuses. PETA filed complaints with the USDA concerning the incidents of a baby elephant who was forced to perform while being sick, which resulted in its death. Another incident that was filed happened to a lion that was baked to death in a boxcar. The picture on the slide is of a woman who was dressed up like a tiger and is put in a small cage. The people that were protesting really wanted the attendants to see what they were supporting and how bad it truly was. Informed opinion and summary. From our research, we are able to conclude that animal-centered entertainment is not ethical or humane. All animal entertainment places, such as zoos, aquariums, circuses, rodeos, or dog racing focus solely on the entertainment for humans and are not concerned about the treatment of these animals. These animals are confined, oftentimes abused, stripped of their natural behaviors, bred, and forced to entertain the human population. These animals become so exhausted, and many of their lives are shortened. Animals have rights, and it is not okay for humans to dominate and own them. Therefore, animal-centered entertainment should no longer continue in an attempt to save the animals. The top picture is from a PETA protest to end circuses, and it says, "Cruelty is not entertainment." The bottom picture is also a protest to end circuses. These are the references that we used to collect evidence for our presentation. Thank you for watching.